Are you ready, partner?
Ready, partner.
Ready, partner. Hey, it's Vanessa.
And Kaylee.
And we're back with some more knowledge to share with you. So what we're doing this week is we're talking about something that not a lot of people talk about, but is really important for relationships, and I think happens more often than we think.
Absolutely. So today we're going to be talking about bullying. But we're not here to talk about childhood bullying. We're not here to talk about bullying like on the schoolyard with like little, grade 7 kids like spread rumors about people. We want to talk about bullying in adult relationships.
But we're not going to do a lot of talking today because we brought an expert in.
Yes, we are very lucky that we both go to university, and we happen to know a lot of really cool people who do really cool research and just therefore are huge experts on the things that they can talk about.
So the person that we're bringing to you today is Dr. Wendy Craig, and we both have the most massive crush on her ever.
She's super wicked smart and super wicked nice, and we just think she's the best.
And you're going to be mesmerized as you listen to this.
Hi, I'm Wendy Craig. I'm a professor in the Department of Psychology at Queen's University. I'm here to talk about bullying, and it's a topic that I've been researching now for over 25 years. And so over that time, I've moved to really learn a lot about what bullying is, what it looks like, and how bullying changes as we develop and grow. I run a network called PrevNet, promoting relationships and eliminating violence. And what we do in that network is we bring together national organizations, researchers, graduate students who are interested in addressing bullying and victimization. And we create evidence-based education, intervention, prevention materials, as well as policy materials. And the idea is that we bring science into practice and practice into science. And the power of the network is that by working with the different individuals in the network, we can actually reach into every community across the country. Bullying is typically thought of as a childhood issue, but it's not. Bullying occurs throughout the lifespan, throughout development. But when we think of it as aggression between two children, where one child has more power than another child, and they use that power to harm or hurt. And it's an intentional act. It's not a one-off kind of behavior. Bullying is not just a childhood problem. Long ago there was a myth that children, what's the big deal about bullying? First of all, children should be left to solve their own problems, or children will just grow out of it. We now know through longitudinal research that bullying is not a problem that children can solve on their own, and it's certainly not a problem that children just grow out of it. And in fact, children grow into more serious and significant problems, and it's a problem that occurs in adulthood. So what does bullying look like in adulthood? Well, it looks exactly like it does in childhood, except we just don't label it or talk about it as bullying. So what are the characteristics? Characteristics are that it has aggression, so that could be physical aggression, it could be verbal aggression, or it could be what we call this indirect or social aggression. And that really means pushing somebody out of a group or spreading a rumor about them, but using the peers or the workmates in some cases to push somebody out of a group, to exclude them. So it has aggression. It also is characterized by being most likely to be repeated over time. So it's not a one-off event. The fact is that I target that person and I come back and back and back. The other thing that characterizes it is that there's a power differential. That is that the person who's doing the bullying has more power than the person who's being bullied. So the person who has power over time is gaining more and more power, and they're becoming more and more powerful. And the person who's being victimized is becoming less and less powerful. And they're stuck in this very negative cycle. And it's very hard without support for the person who's being victimized to end this cycle of violence. And bullying is a form of violence. So the challenge about bullying in both children and adolescents and adulthood is that it happens often when peers are present, when others are present. But the reality is, very rarely do people step in and intervene. And that's completely understandable. Morally, it doesn't feel very comfortable, but it's understandable. Why? Why do people say they don't intervene? The number one reason is they're afraid. They're afraid that they'll be next, that they'll be targeted by the bullying or the victimization. The second reason is they think, well, if it's that bad, somebody else would do something. It's that notion of there's lots of other people here, and it's what we call diffusion of responsibility. The third reason is that they start to think about what are the consequences to themselves. Are they putting themselves in danger? Are they going to lose their own status? So it's not just are they going to become victimized, but are they going to lose status within that group? And what are the consequences for them, particularly in a work environment? Are they going to lose their job? So what do we recommend, or what does the research show that people should do that is the most effective? Well, the first thing that we recommend is assess the situation. Don't intervene if you think you're going to get hurt, or it's going to emotionally hurt you or psychologically hurt you. Don't intervene in the moment because the cost might just be too high. If it's safe to intervene, you may not want to intervene directly. You may want to just pull the person who's being victimized aside, perhaps engage them in another task to end the negative interaction. So invite them for lunch, invite them over to have a meeting about something else. Get them out of the immediate situation. What do you do if you don't intervene in the moment? Then you go and you report it. You report it to the person that is your boss, or who's in charge of you, or who supervises you. You record the details of the incident, where it happened, what happened, who was involved, and who was present and watching it. As many details as you could possibly record, so that now can become a matter of investigation and somebody who's in a position of authority. Because remember, when we talked about bullying, it's about having more power. And so you need people to stand up for the person who's being victimized, who have power and can help right that power balance. So getting that support is absolutely critical. And that's what I think about it. I think about it as getting support for the person, for you, the person who might be witnessing it, and also for the person who's experiencing the bullying. The worst thing, and it's interesting, the thing that people are most tempted to do, but it's the worst thing you can do, is take on the person who's doing the bullying. Because what we find in our research is when you take that person on, you tend to do it in an aggressive, or what's interpreted as an aggressive way, and that tends to actually escalate the bullying and make the bullying go on longer. Some people are reluctant to go and get others support that their boss or their supervisor to address bullying in the workplace. Yes, it is hard, but I think we need to think about it differently. It's also the most respectful, most supportive kind of behavior that we can engage in. And sometimes we have to make the hard decisions. And we have to think about what are the long-term payouts of those hard decisions. The long-term advantages are we're creating a workplace that is stating very clearly that we will respect each other, we will treat each other fairly, we will ensure that everybody has the right and feels safe in our workplace. And so by stepping up and supporting the person who's being victimized, by reporting it to someone, you're making a difference, and you're creating the kind of workplace that you're going to want to go to every day. And so, while it may feel hard the first time, the long-term benefits will ensure that you have a happy and healthy and productive workplace. If you feel like you're being bullied in the workplace, then you need to first say to yourself, I have the right to feel safe, and I have the right to feel respected, because everybody has those rights. Those are basic human rights. So what do? Get support. Get support for you. Talk to a colleague, explain to them what's happening, record it, write down the details of the incidents, what happened, who was involved, where it happened, when it happened. And once you have those recorded, then you need to go to the person who you report to, your supervisor, or if you don't feel comfortable talking to your supervisor, somebody who's above your pay grade that you feel that you can confide in, that you feel that you can trust. And you need to tell them exactly what's going on. You need to give them the information and record it. Maybe you've received an email that concerns you, that you feel like is bullying. Print it off, bring that with you. But you need to seek help, seek support, because you have the right to be safe at work. The other thing that you need to recognize is when someone's victimized, it can affect how they feel about themselves. It can affect how they're doing their job. It can affect how they go home and their relationships at home. So you need to make sure that you're getting the support that you need. Maybe you need to get professional support. Maybe you need to make sure that you're sharing with your loved ones and your family what's going on for you at work. Maybe you need to talk to your doctor about it to see if there are other things that you need to do to support you as you go through this challenging time. The worst thing you can do is not talk about it. If we don't talk about it, then we can't address it, and we can't create the kind of workplace that you deserve to work in. So you need to share it, talk about it, and find the people that you can trust to confide in, and keep talking to them until it changes for you. One of the things that I talk a lot about is how to have healthy relationships. And when I talk to people, it always feels so simple and so straightforward. And it feels like a message that, of course, I have healthy relationships. Well, I like to challenge the people I talk about to really evaluate and do that self-assessment. In order to make sure that we're treating others in a safe and respectful and fair way, we need to be aware of our own behavior. We need to be aware of what is the kind of behaviors that we're engaging in. We need to look at the other person for their physical and nonverbal responses to the words that we say, or maybe the stance that we have. So we need to be aware of the kinds of things we say and the impacts that it has on others to make sure that we're treating everybody in a respectful, non-aggressive, and positive manner so that we're having healthy relationships. Think about how we use power in the case of bullying. Do we use power positively, or are we using power negatively? If we realize in doing that self-assessment that we're not treating others the way that we should, we need to repair that relationship. Everybody makes mistakes, and I think that's the most important message that I can give. When you become self-aware, when you start to think about your behavior and its impact on others, you might start to see things that you regret. Maybe you regret saying things for the way that a person looked. Maybe you inadvertently turned slightly and excluded somebody from a group. If you feel that, then listen to it. Trust your intuition and go and repair. And when you repair in relationships, it's about taking responsibility. You know, I noticed earlier that I turned my back, and that might have felt like to you that I was excluding you. If you felt that way, I apologize. That was not my intent at all. You need to know that it's very important to me that everybody's included. And if I do that again, you need to call me on it, and it's okay. But I'm sorry that if you experience any discomfort. Repair relationships. That's a hard question. I guess, because I think of what's really changed over the years is now we recognize bullying is a problem, so that's great, and it impacts people negatively, so that's great. Most important thing I can tell you is in order to best prevent bullying, it's to engage in healthy relationships. Because when you engage in healthy relationships, you're setting a tone and a context about what you think are important relationships. Safety, respect, trust, communication, being physically safe, being mentally safe. But these things are things that happen in healthy relationships. So by engaging in healthy relationships, you're promoting a culture that will be healthy and will support and model for everybody in that place to have healthy relationships. So most important thing you can do is role model those healthy relationships, engage in them, and live them, and create that healthy workplace.
So now that your minds have been blown with
Are you mesmerized? Are you enthralled? Are you so inspired to just go stop every instance of adult bullying and live the healthiest relationships possible?
Absolutely.
Because that's how we feel.
Yes.
But we just want to have a big thanks to Wendy.
Yes, absolutely. So as usual, we have some things that we want to make sure that you take away from today's video and some challenges so you can move forward and make sure that your life is the most healthier life that you can live.
Challenge. As Dr. Craig said, one of the most important things you can do is have a little self-check-in and self-assess. Are you living a healthy relationship? Are you building respect and trust and safety in your relationships? And so we challenge you to look at all of your different relationships and in the different domains of your life, at work, at school, at home. Look at the relationships that are around you. And is there anybody that is in need of support?
Are you being the best role model that you can be for a healthy relationship?
We know you have it in you.
So another thing we want to make sure you took away from today's episode, another challenge for you, is to challenge yourself to be the best support you can be for the people in your life. So as we've been talking about a lot before, it shouldn't be up to the people in our lives to have to reach out to us if they're having a problem. Obviously we hope they do, but it also should be up to us a little bit to make sure they're doing okay. So check in with the people in your life, check in with the people that you care about, and make sure they're doing okay in terms of the relationships they're having. Find out if they're having any problems with people in their lives, or find out if they have any questions about how to deal with certain people in their lives.
Yeah. Just know the relationships that people in your life are having. Jim from work, Patty, Susan. Because the more you understand about those relationships, the more you can understand the dynamics and see if you need to be more of a support.
Absolutely. So anyways,
we
hope that you have learned a lot about relationships today, about bullying in particular, and we hope that you're going to go out and have some conversations with people about the stuff that you learned today.
So we all know the struggle is real, but hopefully after this week, it's a little bit easier. Sign off.
Bam.
Bam.
Bam. Good job.
Good job.